While Zing TV was in Barbados for the Best of the Caribbean Tales Film Festival, we sat in on a seminar of Caribbean filmmakers who pitched their scripts and film ideas to a panel of judges. Here's what they had to say. I am here with Georgiana and Allison, who are involved with the Winston Hall story. Now tell us a little bit about the story.
Oh, well, it's a great story, a true story of a Barbadian folk hero, if you like, who was accused of a murder of a plantation owner and was on escape from the police, sentenced to death and escaped from the police, and then escaped twice again from maximum security. A true story, but one that's quite incredible. So we take you inside the mind of Winston Hall, that's his name, right, and all of his experiences while he was on the run for over a 20-year period. And it raises a lot of things that Barbadians have asked over many years that we want to take to the world.
He actually got caught because he was involved with a woman. Tell us a bit more detail, a little bit about it.
This was his second recapture. He actually was hiding on the island of Trinidad, and he fell in love with a Trinidadian woman, and he got in a lot of verbal battles with her children's father, and because of that, he actually came before the police, who wasn't even aware that he was a criminal, but when they found out because of fingerprint matches, then he was brought back to the island of Barbados and reincarcerated again.
Where's the motivation for a story like this come from? What made you feel compelled to tell this story?
Okay, but Winston became more of an iconic legend in his time because to escape from prison 3 times is a feat in itself, maximum security twice. So I was well aware that, you know, it would make an awesome story just in itself. So I did it on the basis of the fact that I know that it was that compelling that it would bring a wide audience.
And as I mentioned before, you said that I said it, that he must have had some type of inside link to escape maximum security 3 times?
Well, yes, there was a lot of rumors in Barbados at that time. The incident actually happened in 1984 and spanned a 20-year period. And obviously Barbadians were, you know, keen on knowing how could he possibly do this great feat every time if he did it by himself. But, you know, people were prone to believe that he was helped in some way, and there were a lot of rumors, a lot of speculation, but still not sure.
We'll have to tune in for the story to see how it all pans out. Now, you guys were gifted equipment for your story here in Barbados. How exciting is that?
Very exciting. I mean, a really big thanks to Mervyn Lynch Productions. As it was, I mean, I made my first film with Mervyn Lynch.
Wow.
So
Everything comes 360.
Like perfect. Yeah. He's one of our partners on Hit for Six, which is my, my first feature film. So I'm really excited that we, have this gift from him, this prize.
I'm here with Mary Wells, and we just saw a preview or some clips from your new venture, yes, Kingston Paradise. How do you feel?
Yeah, great. It's going to be a very beautiful project. A lot of work left. I'm doing the first rough cut and have quite a bit of left to do. So that's hopefully I'll be able to shop it.
And you will.
Yeah, I need to do something. When in a town, we deal with again. Easy not.
And what was some motivation behind the film?
This is my first feature narrative, and I wanted so much to do on, and especially an urban flick, but not just any story, something that had meaning and that...
Substance.
Yes, substance. And that, not to sound pretentious, but to try and to have an impact on young people, to empower and
teach them something at the same time.
Yes, right. And cloak it under the entertainment cover.
Nice. Now, we just saw it here in the panel. How do you think the panel is going this far?
This film festival the thrust is a marketplace. So even though it was rough, believe me, for the Caribbean, it was a great first process, progress.
And what are some of the things that stand out in your mind's eye about it, excuse me?
Well, that the ideas are incredible, and that the Caribbean canvas for stories and films are endless. And we just need a push. It's not just only about money, but we need to get going.
And in terms of money, are we looking for sponsors? Are we looking for the right market in terms of reaching the right people?
Yes, a mixture of things. First, really good stories, to be able to pitch our projects and not be so nervous and not talk as loud as we should. And investors, not just foreign investors. Caribbean, there's money in the Caribbean. People who will take us seriously.
And we need to support our own as well.
Absolutely.
And you just pitched your TV series idea. Tell us a little bit about it.
It's a series called Growing Up Caribbean. It's 13 half hours, fictional half hours, on the experience of everyone in the region of growing up in the Caribbean. I mean, we have these varied islands, these varied cultures, but we all have very similar stories. We all have things that bind us. We have this sea that binds us, which is a great line from somebody else. We have a sea that binds us. Somebody described it as a continent we're all a big continent with just a little bit of water in the middle. And we thought we'd love to have these stories of childhood in your various countries. So we've got a call for treatments. We're going to do 13 half hours. And we're just starting now, and the interest has been very strong on the series.
Now, you were inspired by a novel, Quarantine Thunder, and you want to make a film. Tell us a little bit about your inspiration and your motivation behind that.
Well, it's a film and it's a book that's set in the country of my birth, in Guyana. And it's also a very famous book of the Caribbean. Edgar Medelhalzer, the writer, is considered one of the great writers of the Caribbean. And I was inspired by that. I was inspired by the story that he told of a young woman needing to free herself and find her freedom in a world and in a place where everything tells her that she can't.
So she's very suppressed, in other words.
Exactly. And through all of that, and in spite of all of that, she finds a way to create a world for herself that that's in her dreams, that would have been in her dreams.
And how do you relate to that story? Because I would tend to think that if you're making a film about a novel, there has to be some type of personal attachment to it.
Yeah, well, you know, Catrice's story is the story of the outsider, someone who's an outsider even in her own family. And I was born in Guyana, but I grew up in Toronto, and I've been living in Los Angeles for the past 17 years, and I've always felt like an outsider.
Don't we all?
Yeah, right? And so that's why it's a universal story, that we all are looking for that way where we can create our world for ourselves, wherever that is.
So where are you in the process right now?
We're in the process of financing and funding the film, of putting the money together. That's where we are.
What we learned from the seminar is that the Caribbean Basin holds an abundance of creative talent that is ready to be tapped into with the right financing and direction. We wish them all the best.